Hello, so I'm here with Kim from Niekerk and we're in your absolutely amazing garden. Before we go any further, please tell us a little bit about the garden and meeting the king or whatever it was in England. What's the story? Because I was so impressed that they came all the way here.
The ex-Lord Mayor of London, Sir Gavin Arthur, was actually born in Bedford.
Okay.
And he phoned us one day and said, please, can he bring the Worshipful Company of Gardeners to Bedford? And I said, are you sure it's Bedford, South Africa? And he said, yes. So he brought 56 British royals and duchesses and dukes and the Queen's gardener all out to Bedford to see our garden. So it was quite an occasion.
Well, I can say it's certainly not what I was expecting, and you can see behind a beautiful, beautiful farmhouse and wonderful garden here. So you guys really are living in luxury here. It's amazing. Yeah. Kim, tell me, your story is an interesting one. You know, you've been farmers here for, well, centuries actually, and you've invested overseas in England, and then you started to say, well, you know, what else is there? What other opportunities out there? Just talk a little bit about your story and sort of how you found us and Wealth Migrate, etc.
Okay. Well, thanks, Scott. We invested in an individual property ourselves first. Our daughter is there, and so primarily to get funds out of here and to have an investment. But it is more difficult than you think, even with family there. The costs are quite high, and then you've used all your capital on one property. So we started looking around for other opportunities of smaller investment amounts in property, and also diversifying perhaps out of the UK and being into different countries. And when we started looking online, came across Scott Picken and your online YouTubes and the concept of Wealth Migrate, and we really have enjoyed it, and we've become a Wealth Migrate partner.
Tell me a little bit about the crypto, because I was quite fascinated about that. You know, we did an event here in Bedford last night, and I mean, nowadays I don't even ask people if they know what Uber was, but I assumed I better ask. And a couple of people in Bedford didn't know what Uber was, so crypto is a bit of a step up. How did you guys get involved in that and understand that? You know.
Same thing, you know, we might be in the middle of the sticks, but it actually makes us more hungry for information and for being able to be part of a larger online global movement. Crypto was one of the ideas we looked at, and we have invested in some crypto, but the big question was then, what do we do with the money we make? Because we're assuming we're going to make money, and we have made some money. But one of the real things that interested me and my husband from the Wealth Migrate opportunity was being able to use crypto to purchase property.
Yeah, to invest
directly into property. Yeah.
You said something today which I found fascinating, and so many of us have been brought up to think about residential. You know, if you take a house behind us, most of us have either bought a house or own a house, and when we think of investing in property, we only ever really think about residential. Talk us just about your journey of sort of moving into the commercial space and how sort of through technology we've allowed you to, you know, participate in that, you know?
Well, as I said, you first always just look at residential because you think that's all you can afford, which is actually the reality.
And in your experience, you also were an estate agent here, were you not?
Yes,
so I mean, you're fully qualified in the residential space.
Yeah.
You know?
Wrote all our own deeds of sale, and so I have quite a lot of knowledge of residential and commercial and farming. So we did all three. But thinking that the commercial, we didn't even think of the commercial overseas because we didn't have the experience, and we thought it was totally out of our league. And just when we started investigating and looking at your properties that you were offering online, it was very interesting to see the returns on commercial, the steady tenants you have, because in the residential they're not always that steady. So it was just a very interesting comparison to make, and never thought that we could be part of something like that.
Yeah, no, look, I have to say I'm exactly the same. You know, having helped literally thousands of people buy houses and apartments.
Yeah.
You know, I always, you know, Dolph DeRoos and others always said, you know, once you've done commercial, you'll never want to do residential. And you sort of go, yeah. But, you know, I could never afford commercial. And then when I finally got into commercial, now I'm like, I fully understand that. You know?
Yeah.
So my last question is just in terms of what does it mean to you and your family, you know, not only to your husband Ian, but to your kids, etc. What does it mean to be part of a bigger community that is not only just investing, but learning all the time? You know, how does it... at a feelings level, what does it actually mean to you guys?
Oh, I just said yes. I mean, it's just so exciting to be able to access valuable information and feel part of a community that you trust, because the web's large. You can draw information from anywhere. But living where we are, not just South Africa, but rural South Africa, it's incredibly exciting for us to be part of a larger community that we can converse with online, we can have fun with, we can grow and learn with, and then share with our children. I mean, our son was there last night. He's 28 years old, and he actually decided last night that he might invest in Wealth Migrate property before he invests in his own property in Grahamstown. So, you know, the vision is big. And being able to pass that on to your children and talk about it as a family is actually quite exciting.
No, that's wonderful. Well, I just want to say from my side, thank you very much, because you know, you epitomise what it is to be a wealth partner. And what I mean by that is that, you know, chatting to my partner Ken in England, you know, you were absolutely adamant that we must come to Bedford. And you know, last night we sort of had, you know, 40 of, you know, all your community basically, and that's really for me is what's exciting, because we want to share the knowledge. I do believe we can add value, and I just want to say thank you. You know, really appreciate it, and I hope not only can we keep adding value to you, but to the wider community. So,
well, I think thank you to Scott. No one can believe we got Scott to Bedford. Maybe under false pretenses to start with, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And thank you for your invaluable time.
No, it's been wonderful, and I'll definitely be back. It's been wonderful. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Anytime.